All right. I think that is it. So let me ask Jason to come up, who's going to give us a little more detail about tomorrow, the format, and all you need to know. And then we'll have Paul close us out. Jason.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Hey, nice to see ya. Listen, tomorrow morning, Scott, what time we start? 8:45? 8:45 we start, so that's after your shuttle brings you over to the international office. We're going to be meeting in the cafeteria, which is on the first floor, the big room to your right after you walk in, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's open to everybody. We're going to go from 8:45 to 12:30. What are we talking about? We're going to be really, the main idea here is that we're trying to take the energy from today and yesterday and drive that forward. Take the ideas and the energy and drive it forward in the organization. So we've designed the morning to do that. There'll be an opportunity to further process what's happened over the past couple of days with one another. There'll be an opportunity to go into breakouts to see what are the practical things that we could do together to push these ideas forward. There'll be a couple of panels that will be very entertaining, where we'll be able to hear from colleagues. And we'll conclude with a panel with some representatives from the executive team who will help us see how we take these ideas forward. So I guess I'm using the word forward a lot here. We're trying to lean forward and not lose the momentum that started here. I guess that's the main thing. I heard that's like a down under idea, right? No, yes, we want to pass it forward, I guess is what I'd say. I'm just going to stand here for a few more minutes. Anybody want to chit chat? How's it going, Mario? Yeah, good. Scott, how you feeling? Yeah. Marilyn, most importantly, how are you feeling? Yeah. Everything went well today? Yeah, good. I heard that the water bottles had vodka in them. Is that true? Yeah. Cheers, yeah. That would be my buddy Leah. Cheers. Darcy, how are you feeling about tomorrow? Yeah? Darcy's going to lead a panel. We're really looking forward to that. Paul's going to lead a panel with the executive team. Looking forward to that. All right, I'm going to give up the mic. I'm giving up the mic. Paul's going to say some closing words.
Now it's really the last day of this phone. I got a new one. I didn't get it fully installed yet. And it has 18%. Now 80% on this phone means normally 5 minutes, so I need to be quick. What Jason didn't say, just for our friends of Alliance members, you're more than welcome also to participate. At an early stage of putting this together, we were thinking this was secret. This was a secret type of session, but no, you're more than welcome to participate. And please come to the office and meet many other people there. Wow, the energy. Yeah, there was a lot of energy. I feel a little bit drained at this moment. I think as many of us will, but I'm sure tomorrow we'll again have that level of energy that we got over these 2 days. I think first, just a few final reflections, and I'll be short. But we have this direction towards, I think it's called a culture of innovation. And that's why we set up this event, because we really felt it was time that we came together and discussed the topic of innovation and what we're doing in different places of the organization to move this forward. I'm a formational cultural anthropologist, and culture is really how we collectively act as persons, as one single culture coming together, in this case our community as a ChildFund community, or even a wider ChildFund Alliance, ChildFund International, but a wider ChildFund Alliance community. And I think we've made a huge step in creating that culture of innovations. And I think we made a huge step also in building a stronger alliance. I'm really, really glad with, I think everybody of us was, with the enormous positive response that we got from our friends from the different alliance members to make the trip, to make the effort, to contribute with their experiences, and really have that exchange of knowledge, that exchange of experience between all of us. So that was really, really positive. Few things that, and these are just very initial reflections because there's a lot to be thought about. We started yesterday. It was Chris who was the first one to use the word ambition. And we heard about big goals. And that's where innovation starts. We need to have that big vision. We need to have those big goals, that ambition to really have an impact, to change the speed, or to increase the speed of change, to achieve a better world for children. Personally, I was very humbled by a chart that Anne put up yesterday. It was the chart where she showed the sloping upwards in words of water and electricity and basic sanitation. And then suddenly this explosion of mobile telephones. And I was humbled because that chart started in 1990. I started with Plan International in October 1989. So that chart covered my 28 years of being engaged with this process. And I thought, and with Anne, we have this conversation. We say, those of us who are, to use an American football word, in the fourth quarter of our professional career, we start to think about what is our legacy. What are we leaving behind to those who step in our shoes? And we talk about those slopes, and Anne talked about it yesterday. We said, well, yes, we have made improvements. And we have seen more children go to school. We have seen less children dying from preventable diseases. We have seen improvement in water and sanitation, etc. But that chart made me reflect, we haven't done enough. It hasn't been fast enough. And we haven't been able to really show that the work that we are doing is having an impact on that. And I think we're making great steps. And I was very glad to see some very young colleagues stepping up and coming up with innovations, because you have to do better than we have done. And I think, and we still want to have that final hit, to hit the ball out of the park. And really, I think that chart showing that level of, that was achieved with mobile phones, that is the level of change that we should aspire to if we want to achieve the goals that the world has set through the Sustainable Development Goals, and to achieve the goals of a better world for children, and a world in which the rights of children are respected. So that's maybe a very personal kind of reflection, but it really brought my attention because it started just when I started my career in child-focused development. And then I heard about, but big vision, but then start small. The viable product, the minimal viable product, what was it? The measures that matter. I think Neelam showed us this morning some measures that matter. I thought it was really enlightening to see how you can measure something that, what are very small steps, but in the end leads you to where you want to go. And that's, I think, the approach we should continue to take. And I think we're set up very well. We have our program models. Mario talked about it yesterday in the Americas, but also the program models we're doing globally, the program models I heard about India and in other parts, which starts to set us up for that type of funding, because it gives you those measurable components that you can package and say to a funder, this is where, or to an investor, a social investor, this is what we're doing and this is the outcome of it, that we, and please make that investment available to us. So I think we really have set the foundation to be able to grow those type of new and innovative funding approaches. Here we go. And then I heard we need to not fall in love. Well, we may fall in love with the solution. Those are really nice. But we need to fall in love with the problem. And I would say we need to fall in love with impact, and we need to fall in love with scale. Doing things on a nice local scale which reaches 100, 200, 300, 500 children isn't enough. We need, should be the stepping stone to really achieve a much wider impact. And I was asked to hold this up again about the impact report, because this is an important step to the organization. In this impact report, I think for the first time we're showing impact in several of our programs, but that impact is still limited to those families, children who participate in our programs. In the program, and I don't recall the figures, but let's say in Zambia, in the participants in the early childhood care and development project, we had an increase from this percentage to this percentage in terms of parents and caregivers using appropriate caregiving skills, or having appropriate caregiving skills. Just an example. That's great. That's the first one. But 3 years from now, or 4 years from now, when we do our next impact report, we need to be able to say, within the communities we work in, we have seen an increase in these indicators, with children having better educational levels, with parents having better skills, among that wider population. And I like to call on the country offices. In order for us to do that, we need really to get in place that our level 2, our program indicators, we get to that consistency of each partner organization every 3 years completing the full round of data gathering of our level 2 indicators. We set on that road about 5 years ago. We completed, I think now, almost a complete first round. But again, we need to speed that up. We need to make sure that each partner organization gets into the habit of every year doing a life stage, doing data gathering for a life stage, the next year the next life stage, etc. So we get that continuous process of data gathering, and we will be able to say 3 years from now, yes, we now compare data from one set to the other, and we're now showing not only impact in the direct participants of a project, we're showing impact among the population that we work with. And then maybe the next impact report, 6 years from now, we will be able to say, and by the way, now we're having an impact on how this issue is playing out at the national level in the countries where we work. I think that's the path where we're on, and that's the path that we should continue, and that will certainly set us up to be a leading organization in changing conditions for children. I think he's now trying to, okay, here we go. The other thing I learned in these days, as you know, we're in the middle, for those of ChildFund International, of an organizational effectiveness process. And I think it's a bit similar to what we did in the Americas around alternative presence. Yes, we have a financial imperative. Yes, we need to be more cost effective. But if we're going to take that as the only guidance, then we're not going to do a service to the organization. We need to ask ourselves, how do we build a better organization which delivers better programs with higher impact at a better cost? We need to really focus it from there. And I think this fair has given us a lot of starting points from that. We're going to have a meeting with the Global Operations Leadership Team and the Executive Team on Thursday. And I think we really need to recognize that the strength of the organization lies in the creativity and the innovation capacity that you all are showing in the countries, and you all are showing in the different departments of the organization. And that we should build the organization and the culture of the organization in a way that allows us to identify where are the best practices, where are the innovative finance practices, where are the educational initiatives, the health initiatives, which we need to scale up, which we need to bring up in the organization and make it a global standard. So that change really starts to come up from who are experiencing the change directly, and then build an organization that can help to grow those practices and to support those and make sure that we all can benefit from that. And I've seen everybody, I think, we've been amazed by the incredible things that are going on. The technology, I like also technology, I like data. And what's being done on that front in different countries is really amazing. And I think there's really good things that we should be building from and taking up as an organization. We should be facilitating that process from the global level, supporting it and making sure that it gets the good practices gets scaled up. So finally, monitoring and evaluation, I think, has been everywhere. We're in a world now that we can't no longer say we think that what we're doing is helping to change. No, we need evidence. We need evidence for that. We need we need the data to support that, to show that. Else we won't continue to be relevant as an organization towards the future. So a lot of things to think about, and I'm really excited by how this has gone over the last 2 days. We were very nervous. I think many of us were very nervous yesterday in the morning when we started. It was the first time we did this, and it grown bigger than we had expected. But in the end, I think it all worked out incredibly well. So I like to finish with some thanks, thanking people, as you have to do after the end of it. This is not the end, by the way. As we heard Jason, we're gonna continue tomorrow, but it's the end of this part of the fair. And I'd like to thank Isam, although he's not here. I certainly will be in touch with him because this was his idea. This was his idea. We all said, Isam, it's not going to happen. You know, there was some initial skepticism, and I was certainly among those. And so I like to thank him. And I will also tell him that, yeah, he owes me one. He owes me one, absolutely. But I like to recognize that it was Isam, not only the idea of this fair, but also kind of the whole programmatic development of the organization over since he has been there last 7, 8, 9 years. I think his leadership in that was undeniable. Then we had some external people participating. Jacob Park, thank you very much for helping us to structure that new area of work. We run into each other and we started to discuss, so from where do we go on this? And we definitely will continue to have that conversation in the coming months and see how we can build on the excellent work that's already been done in India, and we're looking forward from the results that will be produced there. We had colleagues from Disaster Ready, we had colleagues from Decision Wise, we had a colleague from, and I forgot the organization, Ben, where in your session. Yeah, and maybe I'm forgetting, but everybody who came from this externally, thanks you so much for engaging with ChildFund and with the common cause that we have as organizations. It goes up. Here you go. And this fair couldn't have existed without all of you, all who presented the 87 submissions of ideas, of innovations, things that you were proud of, that you wanted to present, that you wanted to discuss here. So everybody, the presenters, the facilitators, all the people who organized the exhibits that we had there. I thought that was one of the richest moments to walk around and to see all those different things being able. There was so much conversation going on and so much knowledge exchange going on there. So thanks a lot to you all for all the hard work you put in there. We have our colleagues from the convention center, the technical support on sound, on video, and we got some challenges there with different formats, with different computers, different connections, and that was all resolved in the end. And of course we had my colleagues, the colleagues of the organizing committee. Can I ask the colleagues of the organizing committee to stand up? That's Marilyn, that's Anita, that's Molly, that's Sonia, that's Robert, that's Christine, that's Sid, that's Andrea, that's Jenny, that's Kristen, that's Stila, that's Hassan, that's Ben, and that's Heather, and that's Darcy. Okay, but there are two people of the organizing committee who couldn't attend. That's Sasan, because he had to attend to his father, and someone very dear to my heart, Sonia in Mexico. I know she has been watching. I don't know, Sonia, if you're watching now, but Sonia has some health issues. And Sonia, if you're watching, we're wishing you all the best and a very rapid recovery, and hope to see you soon back in the office. And then, of course, I was going to say, when the organizing committee stood up, I said, now you can sit down, except Marilyn. Where's Marilyn? Marilyn, stand up. What Marilyn has done over the last couple of months, they say beyond the call of duty. I would say it's far beyond the call of duty. Now, while going through a very difficult personal situation, she has stood up to the task. She has been dealing with a lot of detail, but many of us haven't seen. I think you were in the office at 4 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it, last week? I wouldn't recommend anyone to do that. I think it's time for some healthy, how do you call it, work-life balance again. But Marling, thanks so much. It's been a great pleasure to be working with you, and thanks so much for all the hard work. And the success of the Innovation Fair is your success. Very good. So thank you very much. I hope to see many of you tomorrow at I/O or in your countries. And again, to the colleagues of the Alliance, thanks so much for being with us. And hopefully, I hear that Australia is going to do the next Innovation Fair, so we're looking forward to that. And wish you all a good evening. Thank you.